Are you serious? Breaking news out of New York. John F. Kerry, the United States Secretary of State, has just signed a new arms treaty, but who's he trying to stop from getting guns? This treaty almost completely takes the rights of the Americans. What about the Second Amendment? What? Get a cup of coffee and just calm down if you can. Hang on. All right, here's what's going on, folks. Let me just, I want to thank Marilyn Francis for getting this to me. This just happened, but Secretary of State John F. Kerry, the Secretary of State of America, just a few minutes ago, signed a controversial United Nations Treaty on Arms Regulation. The president's happy about it, and John Kerry has a little bit of a smirk. I understand pictures can catch you off guard, but they also say 1,000 words. Well, let me just go on. Here's what's going on. In advance of the signing, this UN Treaty of Arms Regulation is riling up U.S. lawmakers who vow that the Senate will not ratify this agreement. Now, in advance of the signing, State Department officials say the treaty would reduce the risk that international transfer of conventional arms will be used to carry out the world's worst crimes while protecting gun rights. Can I just say something before I go any further? Maybe the first thing you should do, John Kerry, President Obama, is go down the hallway, find the Justice Department in Washington, knock on the door of the Attorney General, Eric Holder, and tell him you're trying to stop the spread of guns internationally because under the Fast and Furious plan he had, thousands, tens of thousands of guns wound up in the hands of the Mexican drug cartels. Are you serious? Are you serious? If you want to... I'm awake. Are you? In advance of the signing, this is what the State Department officials are saying the treaty would do. It would reduce the risk that international transfers of conventional guns and arms will be used to carry out the world's worst crimes while protecting gun rights. Well, the treaty builds on decades of cooperative efforts to stem the international illegal and illicit trade in conventional weapons that benefits terrorists and rogue agents. What about the guns at Benghazi? When we helped take down Muammar Gaddafi in Libya by the help of a no-fly zone in NATO, we went in and confiscated tons of weapons from Gaddafi. And we gave those weapons to the Al-Qaeda operatives and Muslim Brotherhood freedom fighters to go help try to overthrow Assad. What about that? That's the reason Christopher Stevens and those 3 other diplomats died that day, because they knew the truth. Can you handle the truth? Well, Senator Bob Corker, he's a Republican out of Tennessee. He sent a letter to the President of the United States urging his administration not to take any action in trying to implement this treaty without the consent of the Senate. He claimed the treaty raises fundamental issues concerning individual rights protected by the Second Amendment of the United States Constitution. Why is this overreaching into us? Why are you reaching into our homes if you're trying to protect the world from getting weapons? Stop giving the weapons to the bad guys. Don't believe it when John McCain tells you and puts his arm around Al-Qaeda and the Muslim Brotherhood that day when he went to Syria that he found the good guys. Don't believe it. And why is Eric Holder giving the Fast and Furious weapons away? Well, Senator Jim Inhofe, a Republican out of Oklahoma, one of the most vocal opponents of the treaty. He also sent a letter to Secretary Kerry declaring the treaty is dead in the water, since the majority of the senators has gone on record against this agreement. The administration is wasting precious time trying to sign away our laws to a global community, an unelected United Nation bureaucrats. That's what he said in this letter. Now, Kerry, who is in New York attending the United Nations General Assembly session, announced earlier this year that the administration planned to sign the treaty anyway. Well, why are they doing this? I'm going to tell you why. Yesterday, in President Obama's speech before the United Nations, he said the end of the order. I need to quote it exactly right. The order. Oh, help me. I'm so frustrated. I'm going to quote it exactly what he said. I actually did a video on it. You can go back and listen to it. I did a video that says President Obama says old order has ended. The old order has ended. Does that mean a new world order has begun? Is that what you're saying? And the very next day, John Kerry signs a peace treaty that strips the Americans. If this is a peace agreement or a treaty agreement about arms, why are you trying to take away the Americans' arms? That's unconstitutional. What's going on up there? What's going on? But wait, there's more. The treaty would require countries that ratify it to establish national regulations to control the transfer of conventional arms and components and to regulate arms and brokers. But it will not explicitly control domestic use of weapons in any country. Still, gun rights supporters on Capitol Hill warned the treaty could be used as a basis for additional gun regulations inside the United States of America, and they have threatened not to ratify it. Now, over the summer, 130 members of Congress signed a letter they sent to President Barack Obama, Republicans and Democrats. They also sent it to Secretary John F. Kerry, urging them to reject this measure for this and other reasons. The chance of adoption by the United States is slim. A two-thirds majority would be needed in the Senate to ratify it. What impact the treaty will have in the curbing the estimated $60 billion of global arms trade remains to be seen. It wouldn't do anything for that. This bill is what Obama's trying to do, President Obama, with all due respect, what he's trying to do is put Americans under a global law, under international law, under foreign law, because he's a global player. We didn't elect him to become the global leader of the world. He was elected to be the president of the United States of America and to defend our Constitution, not strip it, shred it, or destroy it. Folks, the New World Order, the one world government, the Bible says a beast will rise in the east. It will have a major impact. It's a one world government. You call it the Illuminati. The Bible refers to it as the beast. It will have an antichrist. It will have a false prophet. It will implement a one world currency through a system called 666, the mark of the beast. It will also have a one world religion driven by the false prophet. And the rights that you have been enjoying will be completely eliminated. And you will come under an emergency martial Sharia law type society. And God will never or will be nowhere present in that society. Are you saved? Do you want to be here? Are you gonna listen to me?